He said, wewe Rigathi umekuwa mjeuri. I am instructing you to sign a letter here to invite a vice president of a country. You say you cannot. I said, I won't. This man has international sanctions against him. And then he told me, well, Taniona. I am tired of you. You are a very difficult character. You are the worst mistake I've made in my 35 years of politics. I regret having nominated you as my deputy. You are a very difficult character. Wewe Rigi, huyu mjinga. Mbere huyu naitwa Justin Muturi. Ni mjinga sana. Can you look for him? Umwambie I am his appointing authority, mimi ndio rais. Kama utamuongelesha Kiembu, umuongelesha Kiembu kama ndio atasikia. Ya kwamba if he does not execute those documents, I want his letter of resignation akifika Nairobi. The Russian government gave us 40,000 metric tons of fertilizer.
The donation.
It was given to this man called Maisha Minerals by the president. And another 30,000 metric tons from Algeria given to the same man. They blended and sold it to government. A donation from Russia, a donation from Algeria was processed and sold to the Kenya government at the same price that we were buying fertilizer from.
You all remember when William Ruto, in a way that resembled someone who is trying to reveal something, said that Rigathi Gachagua asked for 10 billion shillings so that he can deliver the Mount Kenya votes to him, or something like that, I don't know. Now, Rigi G, being the truthful man he is, came out with his own revelation.
Now, I want to give you 3 things that we disagreed with William Ruto. And it's important because now that he spoke the other day trying to say that he disagreed with me because I wanted 10 billion, I think it's important now that I tell the people of Kenya.
And you know, when it comes to revealing, this man Rigi G is on a whole new level. I know you might have watched this interview from elsewhere, but in this video, I'm going to tell you in summary what really was being said by Rigi G. So I will cut all this bullshit to bring you the raw message of the truthful man himself. First of all, according to Rigi G, him and Ruto disagreed on 3 main things, and Ruto himself felt that it was enough and that he was not going to tolerate his DP.
And then he told me, well, Taniona, I am tired of you. You are a very difficult character. You are the worst mistake I've made in my 35 years of politics. I regret having nominated you as my deputy.
These 3 things are:
I had a serious disagreement with President William Ruto about Sudan. Another issue is Kosovo. So when Rigathi Gachagua was appointed Minister of Agriculture, the president and Felix Koskei were running the ministry. Rigathi Gachagua was just a flower girl. And I can tell you, they wanted to fix him about fertilizer.
Those are the 3 things that, according to Rigi G, made him and the President Ruto part ways, and the president decided that it was strategic to get him out of the way. Because according to Rigi G, in the entire cabinet, only him and Justin Muturi had the balls to question the president. And as you all know, now they both are not in the government. Muturi was fired and Rigi G was impeached. But why was Muturi fired? There are 4 things that, according to Rigi G, made the president to feel that Muturi was never going to work in his government. But first, let's dig a little deep to those ones of Rigi G. About the Sudan issue, this is what the truthful man had to say.
You know we have a problem in Sudan. There's a rebel movement called RSF. And the leader of that group is called Hemeti. Has been the vice president of Sudan. So in 2023, William Ruto called me to his office and told me that diplomatically, a president can only invite a president to visit him, and he has a friend who is a vice president and he cannot invite him. So he wanted me to invite him on his behalf.
I recall you said this.
And he had a letter.
Yes.
I signed that letter, and Hemeti came, and we met, we discussed about Kenya and Sudan, but that was not the purpose of the visit. I took him to the president. Later on, I realized they are doing business. After some time, it came clear to me that the international community had placed international sanctions against Hemeti because of genocide, killing women and children, and no other crimes against humanity. So President William Ruto called me again and told me to invite Hemeti again. And I told him, Mr. President, this is a butcher of women and children. And he is using our country, through your friendship, to bring gold from Sudan, clean it in Nairobi, take it to the Middle East, use the funds to buy arms to go and kill people in the Sudan. I told him, Mr. President, I am a father. I am a Christian. Just the way we are killing our children here through abductions, I cannot be party to what is happening in the Sudan, and I cannot invite Hemeti here. I said, I will not. He said, you must. You are my deputy. Do you know by him not coming here what I'm going to lose? I said, Mr. President, I'm not going to do it. He said, wewe Rigathi umekuwa mjeuri. Later on, I learned my signature was forged to invite him. I went, I faced the president. I told him, if this man lands in this country on an invitation purportedly signed by me, I would disown him. So the visit was stood down. And then he told me, well, Taniona.
Wow, that's serious if it is true. But is it true? Chances are it might be true. We know that Hamadan Dagalo was in Kenya. That's true. We know that diplomatically, as Rigi G has said, it's only logical that a vice president is invited by his or her fellow vice president. In this case, the deputy president Rigathi Gachagua. That's also true. It is also clear that Hamadan has international sanctions against him for genocide. That is true also. He also was in Kenya, in KICC, allegedly forming a government, and he was given a safe haven. And we also know that Sudan's rebels have recently been running and controlling some gold mining areas like Darfur and Kordofan. That is also true. So whether that gold is claimed in Kenya or not, we don't know. All that is clear is that Rigi G cannot be ignored. So on the other thing about Kosovo, this is what Rigi G had in store.
Very senior officers from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs came to see me. They told me that internationally it is unwise for the Kenyan government to acknowledge or recognize Kosovo. And that will create us problems internationally. They say, we want you to talk to the president because none of us can talk to him because he's adamant that we need to recognize Kosovo and it will create us international problems. And I went to see the president and I said, Mr. President, senior officials from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs have come to see me over this matter. And he was mad. He was in a rage. He wanted to know who they are. I said, I cannot tell you because you will fire them. But this is information. Please don't do it. It will soil our image. He said, go to hell. If you don't like it, you can quit this government. And Rigathi, please, keep off foreign affairs. Wefanya kazi yako ya naibu wa rais. Only for me to come and hear is later that the president and the president of Kosovo are having a business deal in Mombasa, over a hotel in Mombasa. It's the Dolphin Hotel.
In Mombasa.
The Dolphin Hotel is a joint venture between President William Ruto and the president of Kosovo, you know. And he really hated me for raising that matter.
Yep.
This we cannot tell how true. But number 3 will shock you. This is about fertilizers, one of the biggest promises of President Ruto during the campaign. Has he delivered? How so? There are a lot of controversies around these fertilizers, and Rigi G is going to reveal something here for us, and for free. Take a listen.
So when Rigathi Gachagua was appointed Minister of Agriculture, the president and Felix Koskei were running the ministry. Rigathi Gachagua was just a flower girl in the ministry. And I can tell you, they wanted to fix him about fertilizer. All fertilizer is procured at State House. Yeah? The president determines to buy from who, at how much. It is the president who does that with Felix Kosgei. So when they were trying to fix Linturi, when they brought bad fertilizer, and I'll give you evidence, the one that you want, because I think this is important. A company called Maisha Minerals and Fertilizers Limited, this is Defki, who is a partner of the president. He is also into fertilizer, and he is the one who imported bad fertilizer.
Okay.
So when the report came from KEBS, saying this fertilizer is bad, President William Ruto ordered Linturi to allow the fertilizers to come in and forget about it. Then they wanted to arrest Linturi and take him to court for this fertilizer this year. And I told the president, you cannot do that. You know, Mitheka Linturi is innocent. It is yourself and Felix Kosgei who are buying fertilizer in State House.
And that, according to William Ruto, was reason enough to mobilize the impeachment of Rigi G. Here is another reveal also on the issue of fertilizer.
In fact, as we speak today, I want to tell the Kenyan farmers, today there is no fertilizer and the long rains are here. Because fertilizer has not been prepared. Because it's the president himself who does it. He decides from who at what price. And this has taken time. The Russian government gave us 40,000 metric tons of fertilizer.
The donation.
Donation. It was given to this man called Maisha Minerals by the president. And another 30,000 metric tons from Nigeria given to the same man. They blended and sold it to government. A donation from Russia, a donation from Nigeria was processed and sold to the Kenya government at the same price that we were buying fertilizer from. And I would like you, now that I've told you, go and ask the Ministry of Agriculture, the fertilizer that came from Russia as a donation, which farmers were given free of charge? The ones that came from Nigeria, which farmers were given free of charge? The president gave it to Maisha Millers, Defki, his friend, blended, packed, and sold to the Kenya government. They pocketed billions of shillings.
Can this be substantiated? Somehow, we know that on August 2023, a Russian firm, Uralkali Group, donated 34,000 tons of fertilizers to Kenya. Did KEBS reject the quality of the fertilizer after they were processed again in Kenya? Again, yes. The BLGPC fertilizer was deemed as substandard and unfit for sale on 20th March 2024. So whether or not the president ordered otherwise, we don't know. But again, I think that the story of Gachagua is adding up. That's about Rigi G. Let's get to know about Justin Muturi. Why did the president want Muturi out? Of course, there's what the president said publicly about it, and there's what Rigi G has to say about it. The reason why Muturi had to be fired is about a role and Kimorel Dam. This is what the former DP had to say about it.
Well, Kenya has lost 38 billion shillings to Italians on Arol, Kimorel, and Itare Dam. President William Ruto had serious problems with Justin Muturi because he would never agree to give a nod to corrupt deals. Justin Muturi was ordered by President William Ruto to sanitize Arol and Kimorel, and he refused. And the president said the case between us and the Italians, we had a very weak case. And he told the president, no, we have a very strong case because these people never delivered anything, but they were paid 38 billion shillings. So we have a strong case. He said, no. The criminal charges against those people were withdrawn by Nurdin Haja's DPP. And the president picked a team without Muturi to go to Italy, headed by his private lawyer, Adil, as chairman, Nurdin Haji and Kennedy Ogeto, to go and sanitize Arol and Kimorel. And that happened. And Muturi was not involved, and the president was very bitter with Muturi.
I have nothing to say about Arel and Kimorel. To be honest, hiyo ni kesi sijawahi fuatilia sana. So you who know about it can maybe fact check the former DP here. Reason 2 why Muturi was fired.
One day, president called me and he was in a rage, actually abusive. Rigi, huyu mjinga, mbere huyu naitwa Justin Muturi, ni mjinga sana. Can you look for him? Umwambie I am his appointing authority, mimi ndio rais. I have called him. I've given him instructions to sign some documents, and he's saying he cannot sign. You tell him, kama utamuongelesha Kiembu, umuongelesha Kiembu kama ndio atasikia, ya kwamba if he does not execute those documents, I want his letter of resignation akifika Nairobi.
This is while he was AG.
Yeah. I said, Mr. President, calm down. What is the problem? He said, hiyo mtu ni mjinga, mlevi, very incompetent fellow. Hii mtu uliletea, ulitoa hii mtu wapi? I called Justin Muturi, and the number was roaming. Yeah, AG, where are you? He said, no, I'm in Dubai on transit. I'm coming from somewhere. I'm on the way back to Nairobi. I said, the president has called me and he's very bitter. Why are you disobeying the president, Mr. AG? He says, no, president has asked me to sign them documents in the lobby of an international airport. Documents I have not seen. Documents I have not verified. Documents I have not authenticated. I mean, DP, how do I sign things that I don't know? And it's about $1 billion. And these are things that I don't know. And these people, DP, I'm very unhappy. They called staff from my office. President is telling me, your people have worked on it, just sign. And nobody told me that they have called people from my office. I cannot sign. So nikaenda kutafuta president baadaye. Nikamwongelesha pole pole nini huyu Muturi. I left. So later on, after 3 weeks, Muturi came and see me. He said, Muti ya nyumbani, hii kazi imekuwa ngumu. The thing the president was asking me to sign is a fraud. It's $1 billion that is being brought to the country without going through the National Treasury, which is contrary to the PMF Act. This money is supposed to go to the Ministry of Environment without going through the National Treasury. I have done due diligence. The owners of that farm have criminal cases against them. And there are people who are involved in money laundering. And from my investigation, this is money laundering.
Of course, here we have to take Rigi G for his word. But here's how Rigi G confirmed that he was really speaking the truth.
And you know what has happened? Since Justin Muturi refused that thing, the talk of climate change, for the last 1 year, you have not heard the president talk about climate change. That 1 year, 2023, he was talking about nothing else but climate change. It was a scheme for money laundering. We were talking about planting 15 billion trees. That deal for $1 billion was supposedly to plant 3 billion trees. These 15 billion trees was a fraud. And since Justin Muturi, who in my view is a hero for this country, refused, you have never heard for the last 1 year the Minister for Environment or the President talk about the 15 billion trees, because it was scuttled by Justin Muturi.
Reason number 3 why Muturi was fired.
We were in Naivasha. And again, the president was mad that Justin Muturi had refused to okay a purchase of land for industrial park. And the president, we slept in Naivasha, we were in a retreat. He called me to his suit, and he said, I want you to talk to this tribesman of yours. Na hii watu yako Rigi G wananisumbua kwa hii serikali. Hii watu ya mlima wananisumbua. Martha Koome ananisumbua, huyu Muturi ananisumbua. Wewe saa ingine unaleta kichwa ngumu, niko na shida na nyinyi. Wewe ongea na Muturi. We want to buy 11,000 acres to jenga industrial park tufungue Naivasha. Can you talk to him? I said, yeah, well, I have to look for Muturi. He said, no. I have told the president that it is illegal to get money from SFT. SFT is a settlement fund trust. That is money meant to settle the landless. He said it is not legally possible to use money for settling the landless people to buy land for industrial use.
Yes.
Again, he told me this land has not been procured competitively. I mean, how do you procure land for 8 billion shillings without any tender, without any due process?
So you're single source.
How do I, as AG, do that? He said, I can't do it.
Yep.
Reason number 4 why Muturi was fired.
When we were in Kakamega for a cabinet meeting, he was again mad with the AG because the then CS Health reported Muturi to the president that he has refused to sign a cabinet memo for the 4 health bills. and the health bill, and I again talked to Muturi. He said those bills did not originate from my office. As Attorney General, all government bills must originate from my chambers, from the state law office.
As a legal
These
advisor.
bills were done in State House. I have no input. How do I append my signature to something I have not originated?
If all these are true, then I madly respect Muturi. He must be really principled to stand against Ruto, who according to me, he is a dictator of some sort. And I pointed why in one of my videos, why Kenya might get into a civil war. If you find time, make sure to watch it. That said, do you think that the former DP is to be believed? I'm Karakemanji. Guest 10.